Bradford City continue their 2024-25 league campaign with a trip to Karl Robinson's Salford City, and in today's video you're going to find out how both teams have got on so far this season, what my starting 11 would be if I was Graham Alexander. If you do go on to enjoy, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. 70 likes as always would be massively appreciated. But my team Bradford City, we currently sit second in the Sky Bet League 2 table. After 33 matches we've got 17 wins, 9 draws and 7 defeats, scoring 43 goals and conceding at 28, which leaves us on a positive 15 goal difference and at 60 points. Our last couple of matches then have been a win, a draw, a win and a win, so we're on some very good form at this moment in time. Our last couple of matches then have been a 1-0 win away to Bromley, a game which we largely did dominate, but we just weren't very clinical in that final third. Their keeper made some really good saves, but they didn't really have a sniff. To say they won 3 games on the bounce, their best chance of the game didn't come until like the 96th, 97th minute. Bobby Poynton wrapping up the victory for Bradford City in what was our 4th away win in the league all season. We also had a very comfortable 2-0 win at home to MK Dons. A brace from Anthony Starcevic was enough to secure all 3 points for Bradford City. MK Dons dominated possession, but we had 16 shots. Their first shot didn't come until the 75th minute, and it was just a very, very easy 3 points for us. Our 9th home win on the spin. We also had a 2-1 defeat away to Birmingham City in the AFL Trophy. For what we expected to what we got, it was night and day. We were absolutely brilliant in this game. And obviously Birmingham are a club with a budget much bigger than what we can offer, but we gave it a real go, especially after we scored. We were the better team for a good 15-20 minutes, and obviously they bring on Lyndon Dykes on off the bench, and we're bringing on 18-year-old Harry Ibbotson for his senior debut. So fair play to Birmingham, they deserved it in the end, but we put in a real good performance. We also had a 0-0 draw away to Newport County. We scored a legitimate goal which was deemed offside, same as what happened on Tuesday. Anthony Starcevic should have 2 more goals so far this season, but absolutely horrendous from the officials. Jack Shepherd was sent off for a denial of a clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity when their player didn't even have possession of the ball. He's about 40 yards out from goal. There was a covering defender. Absolutely horrible decision, but thankfully he has now served that 1-match ban. And we also had a 1-0 win at home to Accrington Stanley. Alex Patterson's 20th minute strike from about 35 yards out, an absolute screamer into the back of the net, was enough to secure all 3 points for Bradford City in a game where there wasn't really much quality, but we just got the job done. At this stage in the season, these are the type of results that I'll take every day of the week. Compared though to Salford City, they sit down in 9th in the League 2 table. After 32 matches, they've got 13 wins, 9 draws and 10 defeats, scoring 39 goals and also conceding the 32, which leaves them on a positive 7 goal difference and 48 points. Their last couple of matches have been a loss, a win, a draw and a draw, so not great form for them at this moment in time. It has seen them slip now to a 4-point gap between themselves and their playoffs. Recently they had a 2-1 defeat away to Port Vale. I actually watched the highlights of this game, and Port Vale looked like a pretty good side, but Salford, they just lacking that clinical edge in the final third. Their only shot on target coming from a penalty, and Ronan Curtis was sent off for I'm not really too sure. Even now, nearly a week on, I still don't know why he got sent off, but I'm sure they were disappointed to lose that game. But I don't think their season's going to be defined by losing away to Port Vale. They also had a 1-0 defeat away to AFC Wimbledon. Again, a game where I don't think their season's going to be defined by losing 1-0 away to Wimbledon. Even we did that. But you look at the stats, the underlying numbers don't look great for Salford City. Wimbledon have largely dominated that game, so I'm sure they will be frustrated about the lack of goals that they have scored in their last 2 games. They also had a 2-0 win at home to Tranmere. If you can't beat Tranmere, then who are you going to beat? They have now finally sacked Nigel Adkins, but I think this is pretty much a very expected, straightforward win for them. Again, Hakeem Badulakan on the score sheet. He's certainly their danger man, and one that we definitely need to look out for in this game. They also had a 3-3 draw at home to Bromley. They were 3-0 down after 51 minutes, but managed to pull it back to 3-3 in the 92nd minute. The underlying numbers certainly look massively in favour of Salford City in a game where they did largely dominate, but that has been Bromley's season so far, really. They've not really dominated the stats, they've just been very clinical in front of goal. And they also had a 2-2 draw away to Walsall. Again, 2-0 up in this game, ended up bottling it and only finished 2-2 in that one. They didn't really create much, didn't really have much of the ball as well. If you're having 59% of possession when you're playing against Walsall, let me try and rephrase that again. If you are playing against Walsall and they're having 59% of possession against you, then what does that say about you as a club? You clearly don't want the football whatsoever, because Walsall, for the large part, I don't think have really wanted possession for very much of this season. But I'm sure, again, they'll be very disappointed to have bottle this. It's kind of the opposite of what happened in the Bromley game, where there's a lead and then there's eventually a draw. On this side, they were on the wrong end of it. Against Bromley, they're on the right end of it, but I'm sure they would have probably rather won this game and lost against Bromley, and then they'd have had an extra point. Before we do go any further though with today's video, don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 70 likes, as I said at the start of today's video? That'd be massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. What is your score prediction for this match? What would your starting 11 be as well? Now, in terms of my team then for this game, I have only made the one change from what I predicted in the last match, so obviously 2 changes from our actual team on Tuesday. So we'll go through it fairly quickly then. I would stick with the 3-4-2-1. In goal, I would go with Sam Walker. I don't really think he had much to do on Tuesday. Made a really good save towards the end of the game as well. It was kind of the last kick of the game really for Bromley. It was a brilliant save from Sam Walker. Recently has really stepped up and made that number 1 spot his own. He's been absolutely excellent even before Joe Hilton came in, but I think that added competition will certainly have given him a little bit of a kick up the backside. In terms of the back 3 then, at right centre back I'd go with Aidan Baldwin. He's been very good recently. He's been part of a defence consistently that have been keeping a lot of clean sheets, whether it's been Huntington, Shepherd, Byrne, Critchlow. Aidan Baldwin has been very consistent in this Bradford City side, so once again for me I would keep him in the back 3. In the middle I'd go with Paul Huntington. I thought for the large part again on Tuesday he did his job very well, dealt with the physical threat of Michael Cheek. In this one against Salford City he's going to have to deal with the physical threat of Cole Stockton as well, and for me personally, if Huntington's available and the opposition have got a big physical striker, then he definitely should play. And at left centre back I'd go with Jack Shepherd. Nice to see him back against Bromley. I wouldn't bring Critchlow back in at this point because I think Shepherd is too good to drop as well at this moment in time, but again we have got them nice options there if we do need them. Maybe on Tuesday coming up against Cheltenham is where you bring in a Critchlow for a Huntington, but again we can't worry about Tuesday until we've played this game against Salford. In terms of my midfield 4 then, at right wing back I'd stick with Brad Halliday. Mr. Consistent since Christmas. I've mentioned it in the last few match previews. He's been absolutely brilliant since the defeat away to Notts County. Jay Ben and even Callum Johnson now really struggling to get some minutes over him because he has just been that good. Again, he has played a lot of football recently, so maybe we think about resting him in the next game or 2, because finally the Saturday Tuesday content, which has been going on since the middle of January, is set to end in the next 2 weeks or so, which is going to be lovely to finally have a midweek break. But Brad Halliday for me definitely should start in that position. In terms of my 2 holding midfielders then, first I go with the captain Richie Smallwood. Mr. Consistent again, very good all season for the large part, absolutely brilliant in that position, does his role very well, a solid 7 out of 10 most weeks, and for me personally he is one of, if not the best holding midfielders in the entire division. And partnering him is my only change for this game compared to my team from last week. I would bring back in Alex Patterson for Brandon Karl. I thought Karl on the whole did his job very well. There's a few times where his passes were a bit astray or he was slightly out of position, but I thought for his first start he did very well. But at this stage I would bring back in Alex Patterson. We need them goals from midfield, so for me personally I would bring him in for this one. And again, maybe you could rotate Patterson again on Tuesday, bring Karl back in for that. It is very nice to have this competition for places. And at left wing back I would go with Teo Adaramola. I had no idea that Lewis Richards was already going to be back for Tuesday's game. I was actually quite surprised to see him go straight back in to the starting 11 after obviously not playing for about 3 or 4 weeks, but unfortunately he did have to come off with that hamstring problem. Hopefully that, because he's not had to play on with it, it's only going to be maybe a 2 to 3 weeker, which is hopefully the best news, because we're going to need Lewis Richards massively for that running, especially around April sort of time. But I think when Adaramola has played, he's looked very good going forward. There are still question marks over him defensively, but I think going forward he's proved to be a very good signing so far. In terms of my 2 number 10s then, first I go with Anthony Sarcevic. Very unlucky not to find himself on the score sheet on Tuesday night. Scores what seems to be a pretty legitimate goal, and a shame again that Michael Mellon won't be given an assist for that, but a great finish from Sarton. I thought on the whole a pretty good performance. I don't really see Lapsley or Tommy Lee replacing him, maybe Jamie Walker, but for a game away at Salford I think we're really going to need Anthony Sarcevic's quality. And then on the other side I would go with Bobby Poynton. He's got to be one of the first names on the team sheet at this moment in time. Absolutely excellent. The quality that he possesses in that left foot, even in the right foot as well, absolutely exceptional. And to think that he wasn't even really considered to be on the bench come the start of the season to where he is now. He's come on leaps and bounds. Absolutely excellent. I hope we can keep him throughout the summer as well. I think if we get promoted, there is no team that's really going to take Bobby Poynton off of our hands, because he probably wants to stay. Brilliant goal for him on Tuesday night as well. And as my striker, Michael Mellon, I don't think Callum Kavanagh will be back for this game. And I think Mellon has played pretty well recently, so I'd stick him up front again. I know there has still been a few people questioning Michael Mellon, saying he's no better than Kavanagh, saying he's no better than Tommy Lee, Jamie Walker as a striker, but I really like what I've seen so far. I think his link-up play is good. He's been very unlucky not to have found himself on the score sheet yet. He had a brilliant header on Tuesday, which somehow the Bromley keeper kept out, but Michael Mellon, for me, I think he's more than good enough to be leading the line for Bradford City. On the bench then, I'd go with Joe Hilton, Callum Johnson, who was named on the bench, but I didn't actually see on the bench. Romney Critchlow wasn't named, but he was on the bench in full kit, so I'm hoping he hasn't picked up an injury. Speaking of Critchlow, I would have him on the bench as well as Brandon Kaler, George Lapsley, Jamie Walker and Tommy Lee. The players currently unavailable are Kieran Kelly with the hamstring issue, Lewis Richards now with that new hamstring problem, Tyreek Wright with the broken nose. He might be back for Tuesday, I'm not really too sure on the concussion protocol. Callum Kavanagh with the calf injury and Andy Cook with the ACL as well. So the players who miss out then through selection will be Colin Doyle, Zach Cady, Jay Ben, Neil Burnett, Gabriel Wadsworth and Clark Adore. In terms of a score prediction for this match, I don't think a point would be the end of the world, so I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I know we've not really conceded many goals recently, but Hakeem Adoulakan has certainly got that quality where he can pounce. We won this fixture 2-1 last season. Let's hope we can do the exact same again. Obviously, we were robbed in the reverse fixture this season. We scored a legitimate goal, and it was wrongfully not given by the linesman. The ball went over the line, and it just was not allowed. And obviously, we had the Stefan Negru drama in January as well, so there's a little bit riding on this game. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I'm going to go with Anthony Sarsvik to get the goal for Bradford City. Fingers crossed, though, we can get another 3 points. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're so close now to 500 subscribers, so make sure you are subscribed, and I'll see you very soon for another one.